Hey, hey,
Hey,
happy Wednesday.
it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited for this weekend.
Yeah, you said you're excited for what?
For this weekend.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. What's going on this weekend? Tell the gyms and the gents. Don't
It's
hold
the
out.
it's the Diamond Rider retreat. All of our beautiful diamond sisters get to come together. We're always together in spirit and on Zoom and on WhatsApp, but we get to physically be together and love on each other and have a good time. So that's always fun. So I'm excited.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
the
going
devil
to
trying to
be
keep me
dope.
from getting there.
Girl, he's such a hater. But no, it's definitely going to be dope. We are flying out Friday, and I'm bringing my mini me, and I think it's going to be good for her to kind of see healthy connections with other women
Yeah.
because there's so much less of that in media, and so I'm really excited for her to witness how grown, healthy, healing, matured women behave amongst each other. It's truly a sisterhood. So I'm really excited about it.
Compare
Um,
myself to a million Auntie Mel, Auntie Mel, Auntie Mel.
oh, you already know. That was the first thing she asked. She was like, Mom, of the diamonds, who's going to be there? So I'm naming all of them, and she's looking at me and she's like nodding. And I'm like, yeah, and Auntie Mel. And she goes, okay, I'll go. As if she had an option not to go. But once she heard that you were going to be there, she let me know it's
He's
okay to drag her.
like very good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Right. She's like, okay, I'll go. You were going anyway, but yeah, I'm glad you're on board to go. So
right.
yeah, so we're super excited about hopping on that plane, and we'll be there in the afternoon. I get to meet the Phoenix, aka my big cousin, at the airport, um, and then hopefully ride into that gorgeous house. Like,
Yes.
can we just talk about how dope the house is?
It's amazing. And I think
Definitely
it's gonna be
design a
more than
stay.
just Tiff. I think Tiara lands right when y'all land too.
Really? Okay, it's
So
gonna
it's
be a
gonna be
nice little ride
a
down.
few of y'all kind of in the same pocket. But yeah, it's gonna
That's
be fun. Speaking of
yeah,
Phoenix,
that's
as y'all see, she's not here with us today. So we miss her. She's here virtually and in spirit.
it.
So we miss
Yay.
her. But
Sending so much love.
sometimes you just need a moment.
Yes, absolutely. I love the mental reset. That to me is self-care. When something you enjoy, you're willing to give it up to take care of yourself. So we're sending you so much love, Phoenix. Sending a lot of love to Danielle as well, Lady
Lady
JA.
J.
Yes, we're sending you love and good vibes as well. So, look, we have a different show tonight. Of course, the way our cameras are set up, you can't really see our 90s inspired
Bamboo earrings.
attire and them bamboo earrings, at least two pair, right? You can't really see it, but we did this intentionally. Look, I'm snatching my earring out my own ear, but we intentionally threw on this gear so that it kind of aligns with what we're talking about tonight. And so you saw the title is Iconic Comeback. We were intentional to play on words because there are so many icons from our day, our time that you are now seeing back on tour, back on these sitcoms and television shows, these trending shows. And so we want to talk a little bit about that. Now, of course, it's going to be a fun conversation. So jump in the comments with us. It's going to be a lot of nostalgia. But as you know, we're also going to have thought provoking content as well. We are going to talk about realism, and we're going to talk about representation and why it's important to see black and brown faces in media and really to see them from a positive vantage point. And so of course we would not be who we are if we did not include that talk. So again, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna talk about what it was like to grow up in the 80s and the 90s watching these amazing history changing sitcoms and shows, but we are definitely gonna point back to community and social responsibility in this conversation tonight. So Mel, do we have a sober up or a straight to the comments or anything tonight before we dive in?
I mean, we talked about a few, but I was like, are we touching on them today? We had some Tia Mowry stuff, for our sober moment, and then we had some straight to the comments. So I mean, are we doing one? Which one we want to do today?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the sober up. Let's do that. Let's spend a little.
Just sober it up.
Yeah, let's do the sober up. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. Now, first of all, if you're here or not yet here, please make sure that you share this live. It is so important to us when you engage, when we can engage with you live. It also helps our algorithms because, once again, positive platforms are not perpetuated on social media. So we're going to get kind of pushed to the bottom because our words are positive. If we had like profanity or we were participating in gender wars, we would likely be in rotation. We'd probably be on everyone's feed. But since we don't, we need your help. Okay. So make sure that you're sharing this live, telling the gems and gents in your life that we are live tonight and we are talking about iconic comeback. So, as Mel V said, we wanted to discuss our sober up moment is to discuss Tia Mowry's new show, My Next Act. For those of you who are familiar with this platform and you're acquainted with our personalities, myself, the Phoenix, and Melvi, if we indulge in any shows like that, it's purely for content purposes. It's so that we have talking points, so that we are relevant, we know what you're consuming, so that we can provide some perspective in hopes to encourage the positive stuff to stick and the negative stuff to be released. And so I did catch up on a couple of episodes. Mel, it was so hard to get through. It was like,
Listen, you're gonna make me go watch it. Like I haven't seen it, so you're gonna make me go. I'm gonna go because I saw it and I was like not interested.
I was not interested either, but I'll tell you why I watched it. Like I said, she's been, since her divorce, she has been on this self-love campaign, this you know, standing on business approach to why she left her marriage and that she needed to love herself and prioritize herself and she didn't feel loved and all the things
All
that
the
she said. Right, she had this, I mean, it was like a massive social media movement, right? And she
hmm
rallied around her all of these women and all of these girls with the same mindset who were championing her, like, yes, girl, if you don't feel like you love yourself or you're not getting the attention you deserve, you gotta leave. Every episode she is crying about her marriage being over. And this is my beef. Y'all hear me
like
out,
crying,
okay?
like she made a mistake.
This is the thing. I think it's remorse tears. I think her tears are remorseful.
hmm
She's trying to play it, and so are the producers, like she's just emotional, and it's this space that she's in now where she's spending a lot of time getting in touch with herself. Here's my question. Which version of Tia is real? Is it social media Tia, who's always living her best life and always dancing in front of the cameras and always so happy and always so, you know what I'm saying, content with her decision to end her marriage? But then we see Tia on this show and she literally cries every episode. And every episode, she references her marriage in some way. She brings it up. And so I'm just confused because one, I think the show is a bad idea. Two, it is evident that she has no one around her that tells her the truth about herself. Not one person. All of them are yes, ma'am. Like, yeah, Tia, yeah, girl, you made the great decision. Mind you, they all still got their man. All her friends still got their dudes. But they pretty much walked her to the edge and then let her jump off. Some may have even tripped or pushed her because I'm just like, I don't understand. Where are all your sandpaper friends? Where are your mirror friends? Where are the women in your life that's going to make you look at yourself and really own your decision or say to you like, sis, I think you moving too quick. I think that you're ending your relationship prematurely. Because her justification, and I mean this is old news but it's very relevant to the story.
hmm
Her justification for leaving her marriage is because she did not feel loved and she did not feel seen. And what I recognize just from seeing the shifts in Corey's career and seeing the
hmm
shift in her personality, that's an intrinsic issue you were dealing with. You were having internal issues. I don't think it had anything to do with your husband. Now, again, we don't have full access and we only know what she shared. We haven't heard from him. He has been silent.
Quiet.
However, just listening to her confessions on this new reality show, it really sounds like there's some holes and voids in her. And it really sounds like the inner me, her, has destroyed her life, not her husband. These are all just my opinions. So please don't DM me talking about I'm not you being supportive of women, blah, blah. Please don't do it. I'm simply saying from an accountability lens, the show looks like she is remorseful and she has some regret. And now she's trying to figure out what to do because even the dates that she goes on, the way she talks reckless about the men that she's been on dates with, the way she criticizes them and critiques them, she pretty much tears them apart. I'm like, girl, these sounds like you issues, not marital issues. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Check it out if you want to. I'd love to know your opinion, your view, what you think about it. I think it's not going to make it to a full season. I think the
Probably not.
world is going to ask the same questions I am. Like, who are you for real? But go
I
ahead.
don't really think the world is that interested. I mean, not. I'm sorry, not saying that. So it's like
That
I
part.
want to be like, maybe they recorded the show. You know how like some of those shows are recorded like so long before. So I'm like,
Mhm.
maybe like the first episodes that you're seeing were like happened like right after the divorce, like before we really knew the business, when she was
Yeah.
really going through those emotions. And
Yeah.
then like as the show progresses, you're gonna get to see like the Tia now. I just really want to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that that's what's happening. I haven't seen it, but I'm like, to me, that would be the only logical explanation. It's like, okay, so these episodes happened like right after the divorce, so you were still emotional and dealing with because no matter who decides to want a divorce, it's still a grieving process, right?
Yeah.
So I want to give her that. I want to give it that those episodes was like month like 2 3 after the divorce, and it's gonna evolve. I just want
I
to give
mean,
it, and
fair enough. That's fair.
I wanna. Now here's my truth in my own spirit. That's probably not what happened, but that's probably not the case at all.
Yeah.
But I just
Yeah.
want to be like, maybe it's backdated, so it's like old, so this is not like current right
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a good point of view, a good perspective. I think it could be true. But I also think just knowing around the time of her divorce,
now.
or around the time she announced moving to divorce, people were asking her about the Sister Sister reboot. And she was saying how she had no interest in that. She had no interest in a reality show. She had no interest, like, a lot of the things that people were asking.
Hmm.
So I don't know. But either way, I'd love
I
to
don't
know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I'd love to know, like I said, which version is real? Is it the Instagram, TikTok that I'm so happy with my decision, Tia, or is it this one that we're seeing crying every
It's
episode
it's
of the show?
probably a little bit of both. But
Probably.
the sad thing is we say it all the time.
Hmm.
There are very few people, celebrity or not,
Yeah.
that put their difficult moments on social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
You only, and that's what we always tell people, don't base your lifestyles off of these on social media because they're only giving you the best pieces. They're not
Hmm.
going to give you the parts that are going to make you sad or make you, second guess. They're not. They're going to give you all of the glamorous picture. So,
Yeah.
maybe maybe those posts that we're seeing of Tia are on those good days. So we only see
Yeah.
the good days. We're only seeing you on the days when you're happy and up and joyful and la la la.
Yeah.
In between those days, you're having these emotional days because you can, especially in divorce or any part of grief, you have days where you're like great and everything's cool, and then you have days where it's like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we got to just understand the fact that nobody puts their boohoo, unless your boohoo moment is for like, hey, look at me, I'm crying type of thing.
Right.
Like we know people that do
Right.
that literally
Yeah.
put those little sad boohoo videos up there just to get the attention. But
Yeah.
as a general consensus, nobody is posting the days when they're going through depression. Nobody's
Yeah. We
posting
always
the
show the good
days
stuff.
when they're having difficult. They only post
Yeah.
the days when they think they are favorable to what society wants to see.
That's true.
And so, I mean, I don't know. As and you're divorced too. So as someone who's been divorced too,
Mm-hmm.
and not whether you're sad about losing the person or you're emotional about what you went through in the marriage and whatever, when you go through divorce, we all go through that. Even if we're happy to be out of the marriage, still go through emotional moments because that is a shift in your life. That is a change to
Yeah.
your norm. That is a shift in your psyche. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we all go through that. Um,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I'm probably not
No,
gonna
that's
watch
true. That's definitely true. And like you said, I certainly agree and remember being emotional. I think the difference is, however, I did not make a public
it.
declaration
Right.
that I was making this decision. And he even said, when he did comment, he said, "You're making an emotionally charged decision that you're going to have to live with." And I think she's feeling that. Like you said, check out the show. And then last point I'll make before we move on, these reality TV shows, they have a really great way of editing and omitting parts that would show a bigger picture or the full picture. And then they leave it up to us to kind of fill in the blanks. That's why Wheel of Fortune is now and will forever be a very popular show, because we cannot resist the urge to fill in the blanks. Like, we have to tell the story ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that could be a big part of it too. That manipulating of the content and kind of chopping so that they can depict her how they want to. This
Yeah.
is why I think the show is just a bad idea overall. But she's committed to it. We'll see how the season goes. I'm
Our
probably just
sister
gonna wait for all the episodes
and
and then
watch them
binge,
all.
just watch them all. Because
Our
each week
sister,
I'm like, I just want
like,
to choke her.
our sister Taisha hopped in the comments. She said, according to her, she and her sister are estranged too. So
Yep,
she may be missing that connection as well.
that's true. But again, let's we don't know why, it doesn't say,
Yeah,
but I have a feeling it could be because she's the one person in her life that was like, "Girl, you tripping." Because all her other girlfriends are like, "Yes,
that's
girl, you
possible
gotta love
too.
yourself, girl." I'm thinking
Or,
her
or
sister probably
also,
was like,
yeah,
"Girl,
or even if not, why you tripping? Also, what's all this you doing on social media? Like, what's all
right,
that for? Like, why you
like
making it so
twin,
extra? Like,
right, like twin,
yeah.
just stop." Like, yeah,
But I don't know. Like I
exactly,
said, I hope she, gets it together. It's
yeah.
listen, I don't know. But we people,
Well, we
and
love her, and
the
that's
good thing is she might be faking it till you make it. Sometimes you try to convince yourself you happy, and so you
mm-hmm,
pretend because you don't want to feel those real emotions and those real feelings. So you just,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm so happy and I'm so great and and yes I am, and you're not, but you're doing you.
You're
It's
not.
not even sometimes not even about lying to the public. It's about trying to lie to
Mm-hmm.
yourself to
Lying to yourself. Yep.
not have to face your real feelings and emotions. So,
Exactly. Exactly. No,
yes.
that's a good point. So, gems, gents, if y'all check out the show, let us know. Circle back and let us know what you thought, what your assessment of the show was. If it's something you'll never watch, like, we just would love to hear about it. We just want to know. So, all right, jumping into the show, we're gonna maximize the next. What do we got left? Dang, only 40 minutes left. We're gonna maximize our time now. We're going to talk to you about iconic comeback. I do feel like we're going to have to do this show again in the future, certainly when we have more graphics and licenses, so we can really be posting some clips and some videos and some images of the sitcoms and the actors and actresses and artists that we're going to likely try to touch and talk about tonight. But the first subtopic that we are going to touch on, look, let me go to the banners. The first one that we are to talk about is back then when. Back then when. Now, of course, I wasn't born until 82, right? And there were a number of Black TV shows that existed, not a ton, but a few that were breaking barriers and, that were pioneering Black programming, right? There were also iconic characters, like the most beautiful character and someone who is still my shero, even though she has gone on to be with the Lord. But Miss Diane Carroll in iconic shows like why can't I think of it? Not Dallas. What was it? Oh, I can't think of it right now. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Somebody drop it in the comments. Y'all know what show I'm talking about. He was a part of. And so anyway, when we talk about, sitcoms and shows like that, whether you're talking about Sanford and Son or Good Times, I think it really introduced realism into the black family structure as well as into black lives. Again, I don't know all the shows that there was representation prior to that, but I do know that those shows really did cause a pivot in the way Americans viewed
Mhm.
black television and black media. And so I remember growing up seeing reruns of Good Times, but there were also shows that I grew up watching, like The Cosby Show, like A Different World, like Martin, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Living Single.
Family
What
Matters.
are the shows?
Family Matters.
Family Matters was out
Um,
back then.
it was so many. We had so many shows.
We had, and they were good ones,
Yeah.
right? They were
We had
good shows.
Moesha,
Hmm. The
um, the
Parkers,
Parkers.
Girlfriend.
It's so many. Like we had
Yeah,
so many shows. Yeah,
yeah.
and you were just talking about Sister Sister, but you had Sister Sister.
Yep. And of course, you had Martin, which was one of my favorites, still one of my favorite
Yeah,
shows.
so
But
many.
what I want to talk about in terms of back then when, as it relates to iconic sitcoms and iconic television shows, is really the messaging. Like, I want
Mhm.
to talk about the subliminal messaging, the undertone, the narrative inside the script.
Yeah.
Right. That's really what I'm hoping to discuss tonight. Like, and we can choose a couple of different shows, maybe
Yeah.
talk about all of them. But I came across a meme earlier this week and I shared it with you and Tiff in our group chat. And it depicted, or it showed images, or like kind of a collage of all the different black sitcoms and their subliminal influence of education. Like, all of the main characters of these shows were wearing HBCU sweaters and other, reputable collegiate institutions and universities on their shirts. It was branded all these different colleges. And that is something we just don't see anymore.
No.
We do not see that insert and that interjection of education and how important it is for us to go to school. Even though they were bigging up the HBCUs, there was still an underlying message of prioritizing
Yeah.
education and the fact that these characters went to school, that they went to college,
Yeah.
and really valued that. And then I think toward like late 90s, early 2000s, when you had like the tech boom, right? And you
Mhm.
had the dot-com boom, and you had the creators of MySpace and the creators of Napstar and all of those major, like literally culture shifting apps and culture shifting platforms. None of them had finished college. And so, like, so I don't even think it was intentional, but all of a sudden we went from thinking about school, being excited about school, to, oh, I don't have to go to school.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Mark
Mhm.
Zuckerberg, he didn't go to school. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these millionaires and billionaires, as a result of the tech boom,
Yeah.
did not finish college. And so I started to see that decline in media and in sitcoms, where they were doing more. School is not for me. I don't think I want to go to college. I'm going straight to the career. So
Mhm.
anyway, let's talk a little bit about like the different shows and the different sitcoms and how they influence not just you and me and our homes and our neighborhoods and our friends and family, but
Yeah.
how did they like reshape culture?
Yeah. I mean, we can't go. I mean, there, like you said, there were shows before um, the ones we grew up in, but I think our that '80s shows kicked in, really shifted the dynamic of just black families, um, of black success and like the different avenues that you can take. Because a lot of the older shows had it, but even the ones that did was more like, I don't want to say black. If they were wealthy, they were like black bougie wealthy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then of course, because of the time, you still always had some level of racial tiff. Looking like the Jeffersons and like Sanford. There was still that tint of like, we gotta
Mm-hmm.
do this racial kind of tiff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
where in the '80s kind of rolled in, that shifted. So it really
Mm-hmm.
wasn't always a black family versus a white family, or this
Mm-hmm.
black person. It was like, no, it's just the black family, however that family looks. If it was a family of friends, if it was an actual family, a blended family, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then it showed we had so many shows that showed different levels of black family and types
Mm-hmm.
of black unities and communities, and you had all different ones. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we really got to start with like the Cosby Show, because it was
Mm-hmm.
it. I mean, it was the launch.
Yes.
It
Yes.
was the gate key, to
Mm-hmm.
every other show that came after that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and he set the tone.
Yep.
I don't know what people feel about Bill Cosby today. I don't really care, but his show highlighted and started so many careers.
Mm-hmm.
So many actors and actresses that appeared on the Cosby Show that are relevant today. There was
Mm-hmm.
such an emphasis on showcasing black culture. So black
Yep.
music, black
Yep.
art, black
Yes.
theater, black. It was like every episode it was there. All of the even the stuff that was stagnant, all of the
Yeah.
artwork that was like in their house were like
Mm-hmm.
famous black paintings. So it was like you
Mm-hmm.
got to see it non-stop,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
got to see black success, like a lawyer and a doctor
Yeah.
who have
Yeah.
kids who are going to high school and going to college, and then they touched on so many things that you didn't
Mm-hmm.
talk about. They dealt
Yeah.
with learning disabilities. When
Mm-hmm.
Theo got dyslexia. Yeah, trust me, we
Mm-hmm.
can run down every episode, y'all. We know this show back in hand. So, but anyway,
Yes.
but like they dealt with that. They dealt
Yeah.
with the struggles of black entrepreneurship when Sandra
Mm-hmm.
wanted to open a whatever store,
Mm-hmm.
and then different
The wilderness store.
the wilderness store, um and then just
Yeah.
regular. It was a black show, but they also dealt with issues that affected everyone.
Right.
They taught me
Right.
puberty, and it was just so many things. It was so
Right.
many of the things
Yeah. Yeah.
that I think it is the precipice to every other show that came after that, whichever element from that you took.
Right.
But it was the door that introduced black family and black culture to the world,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
because everybody knows the Cosby Show. Black, white, Spanish, green, yellow,
Mm-hmm.
blue, purple, orange. Like everybody watched that show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Agreed. No, I so love your synopsis of that because it's true. I think the Cosby Show really helped introduce the world to, Black affluence
Yeah.
and, Black educated professionals. Because if you think about it, we didn't see that. Like you said, when you think of Sanford and Son, and you think of Good Times, they were poor, living in the ghetto, and James
Right.
had 4 and 5 different jobs, and they still weren't making it. And then now you set the scene of this Black affluent family with all of these children, and a woman who is, and let's just park on the character Felicia Rashad. Can we please just talk about Claire Huxtable for a
Everybody's
moment?
forever mother.
That is the forever prototype. Okay. Like, and the reason I really want to emphasize her character, because she was a doting wife, right? She was a loving wife. She was a present and engaged mother, but she was also a woman with goals, you know what I'm saying, and a professional pursuit. Like, she had her own things that she was working on, yet it didn't take away from her time at home or her time with her husband, her ability to support him and, you know what I'm saying, receive his support. And what I love most is she was no nonsense, yet she wasn't what we see now. Black women now who stand up for themselves, or who are very firm in their thinking, who are very present in understanding who they are in terms of character, it is real, petty, it's nasty, you know what I'm saying, like, it's toxic, they spew a lot of venom. She was able to correct something
What?
and maintain class and decorum in like top tier ways. Like,
Yeah.
oh God, I love
Like
me some
it be some moments I watch it and I was like, oh, like I
Right.
still, and it's so many slogans that I still use today, and my friends still laughing. They be like, I'm like, yes, I'm an 80s baby. I don't care. Like every time
Yeah.
somebody tell me they going out to the club, I'll be like, oh, so you're going to have big fun with the wretched, huh? Every time. Like that's just like, and they be like, what? And I'm like, oh, you not, you
You
didn't get
want to have big fun.
yeah, you're gonna have
Yes.
big fun with the wretched, huh?
But
Even
and
the
the last thing
lessons, even the like
huh?
the even just speaking of that, like how they the lessons that they taught their kids
Hmm.
without abandoning them, without degrading them, without demeaning them,
That
without
part.
breaking their spirits. But it was
That part.
like, oh, you're not about to get away with this, but we're gonna teach you, you're gonna learn from this experience. We're not just gonna beat you or
Hmm.
it was none of that. Like it was like it was they had some of the first of all, whoever wrote these things, the most creative ways
Right,
to like
right, right. There was discipline and there was
yeah,
structure and there were
absolutely.
consequences, right? But it was all love,
Yeah.
right? It never made a child feel shame. And like the last thing I'll say about Claire before we move on is like every woman at that time wanted to be her. And I
Yeah.
love that we had such an icon to idolize or
Mhm.
someone to desire to emulate who there were no flaws. Like we knew she obviously wasn't perfect,
Right.
but she wasn't twerking. She wasn't cursing out dude. She wasn't emasculating her husband. You know what I'm saying? Like she
Yeah.
wasn't cheating back. She wasn't she was such a wholesome,
Yeah.
respectable woman.
Yeah.
And so growing up, that was the standard of beauty
Yeah.
in our communities. And when I say beauty, I'm talking intrinsic and external beauty because Claire was bad, honey. Seasons 1 and 2, there was none gorgeous. Like she was absolutely flawless. But again, you started to see some of her behaviors that were
Mhm.
super, super classy. And so, anyway, we can talk about the Cosby Show all day. Let's move on. Let's check the comments first, see if anybody wanted to contribute to that
Yeah,
discussion
we got a
before we
couple
move on.
comments in here. Welcome. Who's this? Vicky Lately. She said, I caught the first episode today. I get it. Oh, of the show. He said, I think she probably just got a point where she needs to figure out who she is without pressure. Being that she never had the chance to be single as a person, being a twin always associated with her sister and in her relationship her whole adult life. Valid
That's
point.
a good perspective. Thank you, Vicky.
Um,
Good perspective.
Michelle said the show that really influenced on me was the Cosby Show in a different world. We're gonna get
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Um, Tiff said, "Let the record show, Claire Huxtable was the blueprint."
She was the
Absolutely.
blueprint. Hey, Phoenix, we miss you.
Kay, let's see, we got Kay. Kay Sweetness Jennings has a differing point of view. He said, "I beg to differ. When we see her having enough time to be whole wife and whole mother as well as a whole lawyer, to me that is a false sense of reality. 5 kids and career, something has to give."
Okay.
Okay,
Respectfully, I mean, I disagree. I think
I do too.
back then we didn't have grind culture like we have now. We weren't trying to outdo other people like we do now. And we weren't so self-centric back then like we are now.
Yeah,
Mothers now and wives now probably wouldn't be able to do it all because our careers first. Like that's the most important thing to us is having our career and advancing our career and doing us, right? And standing on business and making sure that we secure the bag and all of those things. Whereas back then, characters like her and women like her did in fact exist. My mother used to be home by 5:30 every day to cook dinner. And I still don't know how the hell she did that. Because I'm like, you had to take 2 trains and a bus to get home, which means you were probably leaving work like 3:30, 4 o'clock. But I remember my mother being home from work to cook dinner because her children and her husband were a priority, but she still had a career. And so I don't think it was necessarily unrealistic. I think it's just something we don't value anymore
yeah,
because women have unfortunately moved into this independent woman space, aka masculine space, where we don't see the value in surrendering certain things. Like I had someone tell me on a comment today, don't lose yourself. And I'm like, don't lose yourself. Like, what does that mean? Like, I'm okay with forfeiting parts of me if it means that my marriage thrives or that my relationships are healthy. I think the problem is we don't want to let go of anything. We don't want to lose because we've convinced ourselves that at some point it may not have been worth it. And I don't think that that was the mindset of women back then. I think they got married with the expectation to stay married, to nurture their children. They didn't want nannies and babysitters and TTs and aunties raising their kids. They wanted to be present and in the home doing it, but also position themselves to contribute. And again, this is just my vantage point and perspective from what I saw my own mother and aunts do. Women that I just know and grew up around who were managing marriage, career, and children seamlessly. Oh, and had time to be at church all the time. Okay, because what?
Okay.
Good God, my grandma, like how? Like grandma, like this.
I think to add to your point, Tima, also, I think what this show depicted, when we take into consideration, is she was able to be that person because she had the right partner in her situation to do that. And so a lot of women, or men, either way, but a lot of times when you're not able to find that balance is because you and your partner are not working in one accord for what's supposed to happen. I think that that's a really key issue. Like a lot of us, you hear a lot of women who be like, oh, I want a husband, I'm looking for a husband. I'm like, yeah, but while you're looking for a husband, are you also looking for a father for your children? Because you can have an amazing husband and he sucks as a father. Or you can have an amazing baby daddy, but he sucks as a husband. So it's about finding the partner who understands your vision, your calling, what you're supposed to do, and where you also understand their vision and their calling. And then you understand who does what, how to work where. If you noticed in the show, Cliff's practice was in the house.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't think that was coincidental.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That was intentional, so that when she was not there, there was somebody that was within distance of this. So again, it's not just about the woman because she gets to do all of these things. Yes, she's able to do all of these things and have a career and take care of 5 kids and be a good wife because she's not doing it by herself. We're so used to today seeing women try to do everything by themselves.
Right.
And so you can't. No, you're right. Even if you have a husband, if you don't have a husband who is actively participating in all aspects of the house, whether it be cooking, bathing the children, whatever the case it is, then no, you can't do it by yourself. But if you have the right partner who understands what both of you are trying to accomplish and can balance that, and y'all figure out where do I need to step in so that you can step back, and then where do I need to step back so you can step in.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think culture is also playing a huge part in that. And I know we don't see it because we've conformed to it and we keep adjusting. But if you think back, there were certain places that weren't even open on Sundays.
Yeah.
You could not, there were just stores that were closed. There was no packages coming on a Sunday because American culture at that time valued family and community. That is not the case anymore. And so, no, they don't care if you're spending 50 plus hours a week at work. They could care less. Get the job done. The culture now is do more with less in less time. And so it does take away from that investment in your family and in your marriage and in your home because you're so consumed by work. We didn't have that back in the 80s and the 90s. And I mean, there's so many studies on it. There's so many articles on it. I'd love to share them on our website, but it really does talk about the culture shift, moving away from a family focused culture to a grind culture. Everything is about grinding. It's all powered by greed. And so, you're right. Looking at it now, if you're comparing to now, no, it ain't realistic. It's not realistic at all. But also, like Mel said, she wasn't a single mother. We're also thinking about women who are rearing children with a co-parent versus a husband because they are two. Okay, because that's a whole nother show topic. All right, Mel, go ahead because we are running out of time already. We didn't even touch a second subject.
Next topic. The iconic character.
We talked about the iconic characters. We talked about Claire Huxtable. We talked about Diane Carroll. We talked about, oh gosh,
so many. I mean,
it's so many.
Like I even, Fresh Prince, he was crazy, but like Uncle Phil, like we don't give Uncle Phil enough credit.
Yeah,
Okay.
agreed. Agreed.
For just even who he was, of course they got slack because they're millionaires, so they got money, but he was still a very present father, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, and provider, and very, disciplinarian, even though you saw when Uncle Phil got to yelling, it's time to go. But
Yeah.
also showing that fatherhood does not mandate DNA.
That's
Do you know what I
good.
mean? Like
Yeah.
we spent, or we see so much time now where the focus is on, black men don't step up, they're not good dads, and after this, and all of that. But you saw in this a man who not only took care of his kids and his family, but
Hmm.
also was like, okay, I'm gonna take care of my extended family, he's not my blood at all. He is blood
Right.
through
He's
marriage.
my wife. Right. My
Right. He's not
wife
even
nephew.
mine,
Right.
but
Right.
I'm gonna step
Right.
up and fathered him no different than he did his biological children. Afforded him the
Right.
same opportunities, the same love, the same discipline, the same structure.
Hmm.
And so I think that for me, Uncle Phil is definitely, I think, an iconic character that
Hmm.
we don't talk about enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Agreed. Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think I think what I loved most about Uncle Phil's character, again, pointing back to presence, right? And I know it was a sitcom, so obviously they're going to embellish some scenes for the show, right? To have enough content for the show. But I did love that his presence with his children and his nephew and his wife,
Yeah.
really showing up for them and really having healthy male relationships, right? Like his relationship with Jeffrey and his relationship with Will and Carlton, I thought was it showed such healthy masculinity
Yeah.
that again we don't see in television anymore. We're
Yeah.
not seeing it. It's not as relevant. I'll put it like that. It's not
Yeah.
as sexy. So they're making sure it's out of the sitcoms. Even the reboot of Bel Air,
Yeah.
um, season one, Discord. Season one, Phil and Jeffrey fighting, Phil and Will fight, like Carlton and Will fight. Like, and I'm just like, damn, we couldn't even get to season two before all the drama kicked in. Like it's immediate. Like
Yeah.
drama is like the barrage. Like you gotta have drama or the show's not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Where we watched 8 seasons of Fresh Prince of Bel Air and 11 seasons of Family Matters, and there was like minimal drama. It was like just enough
I
for
think
for
it was
real life.
I think there was a lot of drama in it in Freshman Starters. The only thing was it was presented from a comical standpoint. Because remember,
Right.
Will and Uncle Phil was beefing from day one. Will was showing
But
up with the cummerbund up here, ticking
I
on the
don't think that
glasses.
was beef as much it was a teenager being a teenage boy and him disciplining him.
Yeah,
Like I'm talking. I don't know if you've seen Bel Air, but it's
absolutely.
like real drama,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
putting hands on people, and I'm just
yeah,
like, damn. Like so. Anyway, I
yeah,
just use that as a comparison and a contrast of
yeah,
how different the decades are and how it does influence the perspective in which they're writing and how
absolutely.
these shows, not just
Yeah,
reality TV, but even current sitcoms, have to be steeped in drama in order to make it season to season.
yeah,
Because if it's too wholesome and it's, what I'm saying, it's too community based, it's too family structured, then it's not, they're afraid it's not going to work. Even when you think of shows like Blackish, it went 4 seasons and then fifth season they're separated, and by the fifth season the kids are out of control. It's like, you know what I'm saying, like they
yeah,
just felt the need to
yeah,
make it rigid and to add some
yeah,
friction because the show won't last if we don't.
yeah. No,
That
that's
was my
true.
point, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying no,
That was
that's true.
definitely my
Like
point on
it
that.
sucks, but no, that was it. I just really, like I
Did
said,
you
for
freeze,
Uncle Phil.
Mel?
Like I wanted to put Uncle Phil out there. Oh, you froze. There you back.
Hmm.
I wanted to put Uncle Phil there for sure, and also just kind of even how his I don't know. I guess you could say how he didn't tap dance for the white folk type of thing. It was like no, like yeah, I'm a play I'm a play in y'all court, but understand
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play by y'all rules though. Like
Yeah.
I loved it. I think he's another
Yeah.
great iconic. It's so many iconic characters.
Heck yeah.
Um, Somebody dropped in the comments and said Dwayne and Whitley.
My favorite TV couple next to Martin and Gina. Absolutely. We love them. They were
Yeah, I know,
definitely
yeah.
Freddie was an iconic character as well.
Yeah. I mean,
And when you
I think all of those
the
cats,
whole
like
cast.
that
Yeah.
whole cat, you had, everybody there. It's
Yeah.
Ron Johnson, like they're just characters you can't forget. And these are shows that to this day,
Continue
I'll be
watch.
like,
Binging. Yeah.
watch it. I don't care if you
Yeah.
know the episode word for word, but I'm still gonna watch it like I never saw it before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like another iconic character that tends to get shadowed by the main characters is Maxine Shaw. Like y'all love Annalise Keating and Olivia Pope. Honey, my attorney of choice is
Maxine
always
Shaw.
Maxine Shaw, attorney at law. And although Khadijah was the main
Ride
character,
the Maverick.
right, the Maverick, and Regine was like the sidekick, and then the cousin Sinclair. The reason why I think Max was such an iconic character was not just her success as an attorney, but the type of homegirl she was. Like when the magazine was struggling, she was the first to write a check. When something popped off in Khadijah's business or relationship, Max was the first to come through with a solution. And again, we really don't see that anymore, where you have friendships that started in college or started in high school that are still carrying through into adulthood, but there's a different type of investment. There's a completely different type of investment. And although she couldn't get her love life together, right? Her and Kyle couldn't seem to get it together. To the end, it never failed that she was showing up. And it showed her evolution as a professional, right? Like starting as the attorney, moving from a private practice into a public servant role. Then she moved into true public service in the alderwoman role. I absolutely just love her because she was who I favored on the show growing up. She's who I wanted to be like when I was younger watching that show, simply because of her presence. When she came on screen, you knew she was there.
Yeah.
And she dressed so classy. Like she was never dressed raunchy, or she was always classy in them suits and in her briefcase and her locks and then her braids. Like, anyway, she was one of my iconic characters. She's somebody I ride with. To this day, I will watch Living Single like just on. Like, love that show.
But see, like, even you speaking about how the transition and things change over some time, like thinking about that, and then also looking at like Girlfriends, which another show that I love, but that was another show too. Like as the show got towards the end, you started to see like backbiting and backstabbing and betrayal, and it was just like, why these ladies just can't go out on a good note?
Right, the egos and the offense, and no, I agree. I agree. It's almost as if it's too positive, they don't believe that we're going to support it. And the same goes for music. When you think of what we grew up listening to, Talib Kweli and Mos Def, I know he has a different name now, but I'm going off of when I used to listen to them, right? When we knew them, and you had people like Common and them, they were trending back in the 90s, but as music started to shift around 2002, 2004, they weren't as popular in mainstream. I would say that they're still very popular because they still have a following. There's still those conscious thinkers who love their music, but in terms of mainstream, it started to move away from them and more toward those rappers that we hear now. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Bitty boppers, because I don't know. I don't even want to call it rap. It's because I'd be like,
it's
another show.
We'll save that for another show. We weren't going to talk about it tonight, but we obviously have talked about this one topic about this. Okay, one more iconic character before we move on. What's another one?
Who's that? Okay, so it's an iconic character, and it's not like your typical iconic character, but I like Hillary.
Hillary, okay.
Like it was in a weird, it's different. Like it was kind of like different layers to Hillary, and it was like she was this bougie stuck-up princess type of thing, but when you really needed her, she was there. Like she showed up for Ashley and she did it in her own quirky, weird way. But it
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
they painted her as this really like bougie, stuck, only cared about myself character.
Hmm.
But there are so many moments in there where even in her bouginess, she still showed up. But she showed up as herself. She
Hmm.
didn't care.
Hmm.
Like she
Hmm.
wasn't like she didn't care. Like this is me. Take me, love me. If you
Yeah,
don't, I don't
yeah,
care. But this is
yeah,
me. But I still love you. I'm
yeah,
not gonna show up. But this is me.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Hillary, and it was like Hillary played stupid. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like they tried to make like I was like, but you gotta really pay attention. Hillary was not dumb
No,
at
no,
all,
no,
by
she was
far.
not. Right, right.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah. I think what, just to your point, what I loved about Hillary was, one, she was one of the first to wear a natural hair on television. A lot of people say it was Joan's character on Girlfriends, but I'm like, no, go back to early seasons before they started straightening Hillary's hair. She was natural. Like that natural curl pattern was present in the first 1 to 2 seasons, which I just adored about her character. But there are so many shows that we didn't even get to talk about tonight, and so many icons. Like we forgot about the Jamie Foxx show, freaking hilarious. We forgot about the Hughleys. We forgot about Steve Harvey show. I absolutely love the principal, Wendy Raquel Robinson, her character. I think we talked about Moesha. We forgot about the Wayans brothers, but there were so many black sitcoms and black shows. Oh my gosh, Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Totally forgot about that. Malcolm and Eddie is on this list. Do y'all remember Smart Guy? I may be
yes,
the only person who remember that. Okay,
nope,
you remember that?
absolutely.
We love the
Jason
Smart Guy.
Jason Weaver, the two,
Ex-
yes,
yes. And Rock. Do y'all remember the show Rock?
right,
Love that
yes,
show as well. And then this is one that many people look at me strange when I say, because I think it only lasted a few episodes. But the Smotlets had a show for like
yep,
2.5 seconds. People don't remember
yes,
that.
yes. It's like 86 of them.
It really is. It's about 40 of them. And they were all on the show. And the older brother was taking care of the little siblings because the
Yep, the
parents had
parents
died in a
died.
wreck.
Yep,
I'm
yep,
like, don't nobody remember.
yep.
That show was, for the 2.5 minutes it was on. I loved that show. Like I used to watch it all the time. But look, we of course we ran out of time. We didn't even get to the hip hop artists that were huge back in the 90s and are now on television shows and on tour. We didn't get to touch any of that, but we really
Yes.
do want to do better at sticking to that 9 o'clock cutoff time, more so for me, because I usually have to pray by 9 before it goes to do better. Mel, what's your gem? What's your gem for the people? Do you want to go to the comments before we go to our
Um,
gem?
let's see. We got a couple comments in here. Let's see. Tiff Phoenix says, I do think discourse brings more relativity. As much as I love the Cosbys, they weren't relatable to me. However, I connected on another level with the Johnsons.
Who
Understandable.
are the Johnsons? Who I'm missing?
I don't know. She'll drop
No.
it in here. Max and Kyle are getting a lot of love. Vicky says Max was too real for some folks. So much so.
Loved her.
So
Loved her.
yeah. But yeah, we appreciate y'all. It's somebody, all of us. Somebody just said all of us
Oh yes,
hanging with Mr. Cooper.
I
This
said that one. But yeah, all
what was
of
the
us
other
was a
show?
good
Thea.
one.
Remember that show, Thea?
Yes, with Brandy. That was
Yeah,
one of Brandy's first,
that was her
first
first one.
roles.
So many shows.
Mhm.
There were so many.
It
Like
was so many great shows. But we of course always thank y'all for being here with us. We thank you for the love and the comments. If we did not get to your comment, it is not personal. We will probably come back and comment like or heart it or whatever emoji we choose. But we really do appreciate you being here. We hope that this conversation was a little bit more lighthearted than our typical discussions. Next week, you do not want to miss next week. I promise you, it is going to be a dope show. We have a special guest. One of my favorite people on the planet will be in the building. If you've never heard her talk, listen. You do not want to miss next week's episode with special guest Tanisha Levon of Evolve University, and the Divine Feminine. This is someone who is going to bless you. She drops gems. Her hello is like, it's just look, her greeting is impactful. Like I'm telling y'all, You do not want to miss next week. So join us next week at 8 o'clock. We will be live. Melvie, Natima, Sheree, the Queen Pen, Phoenix, and our special guest, Tanisha Levon. All right, Mel, what is your gem? Go ahead and drop your gem.
Oh, what's my gem for today? What is my gem for today for the people? I don't even know. I was so hyped over this 80s show. I'm like, I don't even have a gem for y'all today. I think I'm gonna just leave it very light today. Be okay to be yourself. Be okay to be yourself. Do not feel like you have to change who you are to fit into what society or anybody else says that you have to. The right people, the right things, the right associations, the right connections will find you just where you are.
That's good. That authenticity always draws. The theme of my week has been discipline. That has been like everywhere I turn, there has been confirmation or a message or a text or a reel, really emphasizing the significance of discipline and how a lot of us are wanting things and waiting for things that are on the other side of our discipline, being able to structure our lives in a way where you are focused and locked in on what you want. And so I just wanted to say, if that's you, if there are things that you're waiting on, it's probably waiting on you to be more disciplined, whether it's waking up earlier and spending time in prayer and meditation, if it's reading instead of scrolling, if it's turning down your plate and not overeating, if it's, getting in those workouts, whatever it is that you need to be more disciplined in, I'm telling you, what you want is literally probably waiting on the other side. So examine yourself this week. Take a look intrinsically and say, what are some things that I can be a bit more disciplined and structured in so that I can get the results that I desire? That is my gem for tonight. Nothing special, but definitely truthful. Listen, we have prayer tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. If you are someone who can use prayer or just want us to pray for you, you can definitely reach out to us on our website and drop a prayer inquiry or request, or you can join us live at 6 a.m. and touch and agree with us. We also have, what else do we have going on? Oh, no. Sorry, open enrollment's over. Never mind. You're muted.
Open enrollment is over, but our November journal series starts November the 3rd. So if you have not already done so, head over to our website and make sure that you register for our November journaling series starting Sunday, November 3rd at 6 p.m. Yours truly will be hosting the first journaling workshop. So make sure that you register. Also, if you like what we do, if you like what we say, if you like anything about the diamonds and you want to support us in any way, keep in mind it is not mandatory, but we do accept and appreciate the love. So you can support us by hitting our Cash App at $transparent gem and show us some love. Help us keep these things going. I think that's all our updates for right now.
I think that's it as well. As always, we appreciate you shining with us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting TGI and the Diamond Writers. And until next time, y'all know what to do. Continue
to hustle and shine.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Let's go. Let's go. Am I getting food?